do whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, now he's teaching hate. He's violent.
Black skin, white mask. Already know that life gets hard. And they say that we're used to the harshness. If it wasn't for the pain, I'd laugh. Truth is we knew about light before dark. Turned music to art and taught everyone to dance. And still no chance. Freedom must be too much to ask. Bleeding from the ache in my heart. Sometimes I wish it was whites in the middle like France. No, I'm not racist, just jarred. Got hate before bush, not plants. They say we should leave it all in the past, but my brother's still dying on the end, so I can't. So if my attitude stinks, don't ask, cause a hashtag won't help you understand my stance. Fuck a melody, this is real rap if you ever see. Head hot, cause the system won't let me be. Tell me how I thrive in a place that don't cherish me. And they wonder why we all need therapy. Pre the energy, yeah, just another nigga to Penelope. And they don't get it how we bottom of the barrel and still drip sauce on the world, no recipe. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding me. Pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
We are oppressed, we are exploited, we are downtrodden, we are denied not only civil rights but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
Forgive me if you don't understand. Sorry, I'm just misunderstood. Punished if I try to take a stand. Meanwhile, my friends dying in the hood. And you can say that we're killing ourselves, but truth is they're killing us still. How you saying Black Lives Matter, but never took a moment to help. Just a trend that you post for yourself. And yeah, it takes a toll on my health, cause I want wealth like everyone else. But it's 10 times harder for me. And they wonder why my brothers put food on a scale. Yeah, when I die, I'll see heaven, that's real. Cause we already living in hell. Wish I could share all the pain I felt. Oh well, I guess I won't speak till my scars do heal. I just wanna be black with a mill. Yeah, that's for every time I had no meals. Cause my mother couldn't keep up the bills. With a handful of kids, no home, just a cell. And I don't care if conscious don't sell. Knowledge brings height to an elf. Went from sitting on thrones to a cell. Been blessed, man, it wasn't by chance we fell. Weight of the world on my shoulders, all the pressures in life still tightly holding me. Pour libation for all of the fallen soldiers, but the pain still goes unspoken. They want us to stay broken, never gonna fold, fuck folding. I see my people lost hope, shit, don't you know we all been chosen.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Yeah, this is real life. Kaa kimya skia. Real talk. We're coming from the ghetto. Kinondoni, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania mpaka UK. The world finest. Yeah, pambana kijana. Life is too hard, life is too short. Shao kwa nangu wote ghetto. Usikate tamaa. Jua kwamba ipo siku tutatoboa. Tutatoka. Gang for life.
I am the true name, true name.
Blessed love, his time is up. Family, I see you there. Blessed love, love, peace and unity. Grandma Liz and all the other moderators sitting in the clouds round about now. Don't think they ain't there. Go on with any foolishness tonight and you will find out. Yeah, you'll be removed and it won't be by Grandma Liz and love, peace and unity necessarily. Blessed love, people. I'm glad to see everybody here. I'm expecting low numbers tonight because it is a lovely evening, isn't it? Isn't it a lovely evening? It's so nice. I don't even want to be here right now. I'd rather be sitting somewhere nice, you know, with some good company and some good people, as you do on a summer's evening. But blessed love, my people. How's your week been? It's been nice, I think, because it's been good weather. You know, I had a little top up with my tan from Jamaica the other day in the garden, so that was very lovely. Evening, Brown Sugarful. I see you, my sister. I see you. I see you. I see you. So yes, tonight, we are going to be talking about two things, really. First of all, let's talk about major hype. Before we get into this Francis Alexander person, who we're definitely going to be talking about tonight, let us talk about the major hype thing, because I came under a little bit of fire on my page. I'm a fan. I mean, what can I say? I'm not a super fan of anybody, by the way. I've been around artists and famous people my entire life in one capacity or another. And I haven't got a problem if they've got a problem, especially in the line of what we're dealing with, to call them out. But it looks like what happened with him and his missus, ex-missus, what's her name again? Oh, God, I'm so bad with names. I've got it somewhere in my head. It's coming. But him and his ex-missus, it looks as if that all took place while I was in Tanzania. Now, what people need to understand about Tanzania, all of you that just what? All them do is sit around quack on the page, looking for some kind of opening of mistake or something that they can get on with. It's pathetic. Now, I genuinely did not know about that. I'm thinking, did I hear about it somewhere down the line? I don't know. It was lockdown. I had fled lockdown and gone to live in Tanzania, which was the only oasis away from lockdown in the world. And me and 100,000 other diasporans ended up in that country. The last thing on my mind was major hype. And I can tell you one thing. In Tanzania, the internet is extremely limited, not only because it's like 3G, 4G. It's very unreliable. But also Magufuli at the time had limited the internet. You couldn't get porn. You couldn't get certain things on YouTube. You just couldn't get anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very limited. You could get a bit of Instagram and whatever. He even, because there was a lot of American bloggers that went over at the time, vloggers. And, you know, they were there. I'm in Africa, that kind of thing. And Magufuli put a tax on them. He said, yeah, you're going to come here and blog. Because some of them actually were being a little bit disparaging about the country because they weren't used to Africa, you know. And Magufuli said, all right, then, $900 from you a month. You're making money. I love that brother, you know. They killed another son of Africa when they done him like that. But yeah, he put it on them. And look, it was very limited. We also landed in election time. Because while the rest of the world was on lockdown, Magufuli was busy just running his country and had an election. And during that election, he locked the internet for the entire election campaign. Not even the American embassy could get proper internet. Maybe they had their satellites and whatever they do. They could not get internet in Tanzania. And we couldn't either. You know, my daughter had to go through cold turkey with the stuff. You know, understand me? She had to go through cold turkey. And I must admit, at the time myself, I was a little bit like, oh my God, I feel cut off. I can't communicate with my people in the UK and all over the world, actually, by WhatsApp like I normally do and everything else. So point is, I missed it. And coming back, I'm not really going to search that. You put in major hype on YouTube, what comes up is his material. So I've looked at it. Looked at it in great detail. And I've spoken to a few people that I know personally that are quite close to it, actually. What do I say about this now? Here's what I think. This is my take on it. We need to be really careful when we're looking at domestic violence. And we are careful on this page because we've championed many a brother where the sister has come along and tried to make the argument look one way when really it's two ways. We're very cognizant of that. And we look for certain things when sisters come to us. The biggest thing that we look for and the biggest thing that makes these types of cases credible is the presence of other people coming forward. Now, if I've missed something, please send me a link of other women who have said the same thing about the brother. Because that's what we rely on. That's what everybody has to rely on. The P. Diddy thing wouldn't be going anywhere if all these people weren't coming forward. Jeffrey Epstein would never have been rumbled, him and Giselle, is that how you say her name? Unless loads of people started coming forward. That young lady that first stepped forward would have got nothing out of it unless other people started to corroborate it. And I found an absence of that with the Major Hype case. I see the sister, I see the bus I see the GoFundMe, I've seen all of that stuff now. Because I went in and I researched it because I'm thinking, weird. Was I just rubbing shoulders with a brother that likes to bust up his girl? That cannot work, you know? So I needed to find out. And what I found was very interesting. Because, yeah, sister was over Tasha K and she was giving her story. And I didn't realize she was a police officer, actually. Does that make a bit of a difference? Sort of. Not in the fact that she can defend herself against a grown man, necessarily. But certainly in the way it moved forward after that. And then I listened to his testimony and his receipts. And what he doesn't admit is that I actually did put my hands on her. And I believe that he did. I don't think she made those black eyes up. But what he tells you about the way that he lived with that woman, the incidents in the where she's screaming and shouting at him, there's no doubt that Major Hype is a Gallis. No doubt about that whatsoever. And I'm not condoning that at all. I've been the recipient of that type of behavior. But, you know, on its own, that is not a crime on its own. Yeah, you're a scumbag if you like to just screw everything that ain't screwed down and you like to cheat and whatever, you know? Yeah, you're a scumbag, but it ain't against the law. It's for a sister to deal with it or don't deal with it, you know? So I have no doubt in my mind, just from meeting him and looking at him and seeing the way he operates and seeing his testimony and just putting all of it together, I have no doubt that he cheated on that woman. But her reaction to that now, what was that like? That's what we've got to ask ourselves. Her reaction to that, what was that like? And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can see, she was violent. Women can do that. My son went through exactly that. Exactly the same thing. And as much as he did, and lots of other people I know did, I'm still trying to be as objective as I possibly can. So Malia876 says the revenge porn thing. Yeah, there was no proof that he actually said that. And there was also evidence that her ex said that he was going to do that because it was from her ex. How did he get it? There's no explanation for that. How did he get that video? She wouldn't have shown it to him. It's a horrible video. It's not very nice at all. It doesn't show her in a great light at all. And maybe he did and maybe he didn't, but the evidence is not there for that. And he doesn't admit to that, you know? The problem with this internet business, and I know I've been the recipient of that as well, is that, people on the internet, for the most part, there are very few people who use the internet, I believe, in terms of social media. You know, people that comment and get involved in social media. Not many of them are very bright and they believe what they see. She shows some bus eyes, she made a testimony, but they're not looking between the lines. And that's the thing, that the point really for his time is up, is that any woman who approaches us has to give that evidence and that corroboration. Otherwise, we're not going to run that story. It's as simple as that. Yeah? And as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, we deal with as much evidence as we can possibly get. No, we're not the CPS, so it's not going to be absolute, but it will be as much, it will be as much as there is no doubt in our mind as lay people. That's the best way for me to describe it. And no woman can approach me unless she has some kind of evidence. I've had quite a few actually, about 3 or 4 maybe, inquiries lately on my DM. You know, Tasha K don't do her homework. That's why she keeps getting sued. Oh, bless her. It ain't easy out here. Throwing things out in front of her child. Oh, well, that's no good, is it? Not at all. But did he hit her? That ain't good. Not good, dad. It's not good that. It's not good this. But did he clap her up in that video though, Malia? They look like they had a stormy, nasty relationship. And that's what we call double perpetration. Like, you don't even know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Because he's describing her punching him in his face while he's driving because she's cussing him off about something. We all know that type of behavior. I know my son suffered that for sure. Like Footer Ipa, my girl who used to date with him, I don't even know who these people are. Yeah, so that's my take on it. She was wilding out regularly. But the most significant thing, and the thing that touched me the most in his testimony, was that he shared that he is a survivor of sexual abuse. That's what he shared. And he also shared that in an argument that she had Take It Tell Him. She called him a faggot and Take It Tell Him. Now, that's the most significant part for me, because what I'm surmising, and it is just a surmisation, this is just my take. I have no proof of anything apart from what I can see and what I believe from seeing what I'm seeing. People believe it happened. Some people don't. Some people drag the girl. I don't think she deserves that. But at the same time, this is not as cut and dry as it looks, or has been made to look, actually. Because if you're going to trigger a brother or a woman, yeah? If you're going to trigger a woman, let's put it that way round, a man goes to a survivor or a victim and says, yeah, you know, look at what happened to you, and takes it into the argument and disrespects that woman. If that woman triggers and wiles out on him and stabs him or something, you know, then what do we expect? Donna P says, how do we know she wasn't just reacting to being abused? It's a massive assumption, but yeah, you're right. How do we know? I'm just saying from what I can see and from the receipts that the brother showed, which was more receipts than she showed, that's what I think. I think he was triggered because of all that madness that goes on with the sister, and he put his hand on her. There's no justification for that. But at the same time, we cannot be one-sided in this. Sisters love to be one-sided in this. I used to get accused of it. Oh, you hate men. Oh, you do whatever, until I done the 5-0 story. Then it was like, oh, you're defending a wrong one. Please. We got that little dirty girl over there with the cheap makeup and the overexposed cleavage on YouTube. We all know we're talking about dirty belly. Yeah? Trying to put it on our brother Killer P. We defended it. And we've defended it before. And we'll defend it again. You know? Thank you, Angor. A lot of grey areas. So that's just my take on it. And again, that's just one big thesis that I have on it. I really don't know. And because there's a lot of grey areas, you know, because there's a lot of grey areas, the jury's out for me. I don't know what went on in that relationship, but it was highly toxic. It was highly toxic. This is wild, Malia says. Well, do you know what? I've always said to my children, my daughters, you do not put your hand on a man of any kind, especially in a relationship. You know, especially in a relationship. And I've said to my son, who was a victim of domestic violence, he never touched a girl once, but it got so bad when she was putting out cigarettes on my son while he was sleeping, pumping him up in his face, and all because he was a Yalis as well. Yeah, he cheated. He did. And I used to tell him off about that. What is wrong with you? He was a young man, a very young man. She was 2 years older than him. You know? It got so bad, if you can imagine the anger of a mother, that my advice to my son after that is that the next time that gal puts her hand on you, double up your fist and pump her in her face. But that's what she wanted, you know? And I'm glad he didn't take my advice in my utter anger when I'm seeing scars on my little boy's body. So we've got to look at it in the balance. You understand me? Sister Toya, you got a son now. You don't want a woman come thump him up and disrespect him and put his hand on her. There's some man that ain't going to take that, you know? There really is. Look, Watley's baby father is one of them. You think you could disrespect him like that? He will base you in your face. Them kind of people. So women need to know what they're doing. And I noticed with certain sisters, they take the piss with certain brothers who they know ain't really about putting their hands on them. The ones that are about putting their hands on them, they're the ones that they calm themselves down with. And I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's a big and serious truth. And we are about truth, and we're about any wronging in the community. If I looked at that in the balance and I saw and there was enough for me to see that the brother was, I would take that off my page, that endorsement that he gave us, take it off my page, and the next phase will be him of a screenshot, and we will be dealing with it. And I will DM him and telling him, oh, ta'ada. You understand? But that's not what I saw. It's not what I saw, people. But anyway, that's my take on it. Like it or lump it. You can say what you like. So that brings me to our next situation. It's going to be a short life tonight. I can feel it. And I'm glad for it as well. I'm knackered. This plantation thing, you know. I can only do this thing part-time. Part-time is just, part-time. I go for short bursts, and then I go away, get out of the country, I come back, I take my break, and then I just work myself back up to going back on the plantation. This nasty piece of work, and he is a nasty piece of work, I say that with absolute confidence, calls himself Angus Alexander, but actually his name is Francis Alexander. That's his name, Francis Alexander, right? Sorry, men don't report it at all. His name is Francis Alexander, but he goes around calling himself Angus McTavish. Have you ever heard such a thing? Now, I know that roadman and certain people back in the day, especially thieves, used to all have different names and stuff. That was a thing in my generation anyway. They'd always have some sort of alias. But Angus McTavish, it just seems a bit bizarre. You're not Scottish. It's just very bizarre, you know, and they usually wouldn't have they just wouldn't keep the name. You know, once they grow up and do a few birds and go straight, it's usually lost after that. But the man calls himself Angus McTavish. And I wonder why that is, really. I wonder why he's doing that. Because this is a man that seems to be about smoke and mirrors. This is a man that seems to be about deception. It's really odd. It's really, really odd, this brother. But let's talk about what we do know about the guy. So first of all, I'm going to go through do something quite interesting. I don't often share my comments. Sometimes I screenshot them if I can get it up, that is. Sometimes I screenshot them and I might show them. Let's have a look. I want to address a few people in the comments because people need to be very clear about why we are talking about Francis Alexander tonight. People need to be very, very clear about that. This is an appeal, and we haven't done one of those for a while. This is an appeal. Why is it an appeal? Because this brother's going around telling people, trying to fool the community to think that he was exonerated of his crimes. He hasn't denied that he served a sentence. He hasn't denied it at all, but let me get into that in a second. Let me just share the page, my brothers and sisters. Hold on a tick for me. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can see that. So we got this guy called Brother Donovan, whoever you are. Can you share original conviction article? I know people from that side and they have no clue of this. When by the law, it's meant to be made public. No, I've typed both his names on Google and nothing comes up. Only white men or an offence in Ireland or Peterborough. And you know, it's a perfectly plausible comment. So he goes on. Somebody says, my father knows him personally. She answers him, Joan Sonia, knows him personally and has confirmed it is true and that he has been behaving this way for years. He then answers her and says, until someone can produce a news article pertaining to his supposed dealings, respectfully, I'm not taking Denise's word. Like, so I'm starting to think that this is one of them, innit? When they start using my government name, we usually know what side of the fence they're sitting on, don't we? And then Brother Donovan goes on. Word as gospel, as we already know. Who's we? Who's Brother Donovan, by the way? Is it Kwabe? Because you know he's got many profiles on Facebook. If you have heard of Sarah's Law, then you would wonder why his name and information isn't public knowledge. No disrespect to your father, but I'm going to take an article as gospel as opposed to a middle-aged elderly people of ethnicity, blah, 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 blah. Like most people who comment in that way, yeah, ain't got a bloody clue what they're talking about. Because, thank you, Angor, you've said it already. And I know that his time is up, people are switched on. Sarah's Law, brother, is, and I said it to him in the comments, but I'm saying it here on the live. This is the kind of stuff that clouds the message. Foolishness. And especially from those that are involved or connected or guilty of it them bloody self. I'm going to share the screen again in a minute because there's another person on those comments that I actually want to deal with. You people, you have no idea what it is that you are doing. Do you understand? This man has served a big ass sentence, 12 years, for the most horrendous type of crime. Yeah? The most horrendous type of crime. This hombre, yeah, do you know what he did? In fact, before I even get to that, because it just makes me mad. Mad, yeah? It just makes me really, really mad. No information on this brother, because believe me, we have looked. Yeah? It's two reasons. First of all, his offense goes way back. There are not many offenses that you can search past the 1980s. They're not all there. And many cases that are there, you see when the millennium bug happened, the year 2000, for those of you old enough to remember it, there was a thing called the millennium bug, when everything changed from analog to digital and the internet actually was exploded at that point from the 2000s upwards. It just got crazy. When that happened, we were all told that everything was going to shut down and it was going to be this big apocalyptic event, right? This big apocalyptic event. It wasn't quite that, but a lot of information was lost and not everything made it onto the internet. You understand? So you have to get that information. You have to send for it. You have to put in freedom access requests, freedom of information requests, and so on and so forth. And believe me, we're doing it. But these things take time. So this is an appeal. That's what it is. Because I want to know, Voice of Reason says, has he reoffended? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Because what we do know about individuals like that is that they reoffend. They can't help themselves. This is a sex offender of the highest degree. Why are you going around the community, Angus? Let's call you that, because that's how everybody knows you. Why are you going around the community telling people that you've been exonerated of this crime? If you've been exonerated, it means that you didn't commit the crime, right? Yet you served 12 years. That was the only proof of appealing, you know? How you be serving that amount of time? How many times did you appeal? We're doing our homework. We're doing our homework. Cast what is available in the public domain. We're doing our homework on him because this brother is a serial rapist of the highest order. That's what this guy is. Yeah? John Smith says he was convicted of rape in 1992. The 80s, the 90s, whatever it was before the millennium bug. You understand? We're still doing our homework. This is an appeal for sisters not to be afraid of this brother. He is a bully. Somebody that terrorized the sisters in the same kind of vein as man like Vincent Rapp. That's who this guy is. Don't nobody defend him. He served time and he has not been exonerated. He done his bird and he was eventually released. And he done quite a lot of the bird, over the amount. Wonder why that was. Why didn't you get your half of your half or whatever it is? How come you didn't come out on parole, bro? That's what we do know. And we know that you're an abuser of women. We know you've been doing this for a very long time. We know that you befriended sisters and lured them back to your yard so that you could rape them. We know that. That's what we do know. And we also know that the crime that you was convicted for was the fact that you went to burgle a yard. Yeah, like a lot of brothers were on the roads in those days, and burglary was a big thing. You used to call them drummers. It was called drumming. Well, it was in East London anyway. Drummers were big. You know what I mean? And the real good drummers would go up to the big rich areas and creep, it was called, when you did it when people were asleep in the house. It was called creeping in those days. And he is of that era. Probably, and that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. He stayed in due to signs of no rehabilitation, because that is what they do. If you're not taking the courses and you're not taking responsibility, even if you think you're innocent, I went through that. I'm innocent. I don't need to be in this course answering nothing about no drug smuggling, because I didn't do it. But you still have to toe the line and do the courses and play the game and talk about how remorseful you are. Otherwise, they're not really giving you a parole. It's the way it works. So it's funny that he stayed in, isn't it? Funny that he stayed in. And there are those that really, they don't do well on those courses. You know, they're guilty as hell, but in their minds, they can't really see it. And it's very characteristic of sex offenders, actually, especially pedophiles. You know, you sit with them in those groups. I've delivered those type of programs, and they are not taking responsibility. They will always blame their victim. That's the characteristic of these people. So he goes to burgle a house, and he finds a young woman asleep, a nurse, asleep. Now, most man would have walked straight back out, because that's hot. Unless he's creeping. Them days you're creeping, they will close back that door, rob what they need to rob, and make sure she don't wake up. You understand? Make sure she don't wake up. But oh no, if you're a predator and a serial rapist, right? I've got to get used to that for the social media. A serial offender in that way, yeah? And so far, you've gone undetected. What do you think he did? Sis Angus Alexander tied up the woman, held her hostage for hours, and repeatedly raped her, sodomized her and raped her and terrorized her. That's where the 12 years comes from, because there'd have been a lot of charges there. False imprisonment, breaking an entry, and all of the sex crimes that go with it. That's where the big bird comes from. If only they could all get that, you know? And he served most of it. So now he's out. He's been out quite a while. The narrative that he wants to try and push, now that his name has been taken off the sex offenders register, because, you know, they're not all there for life. They're there at prescribed terms, whatever the judge says or it's deemed is necessary. You know? And his name is off the sex offenders register now, because I've not found it there. Yeah, it's gone. So now his narrative is, because nobody can't find him anymore, I was exonerated. That's what happened. I was exonerated, and I didn't really commit the crime, and I've been paid out a big amount of money and whatever. You know, if it's a lie I'm telling on the man, let him jump on. He's got the right to reply. We always give the right to reply, and he will have a measured conversation. But he's nowhere to be seen. Not hive nor hair of him. No, but we do know that he's running around in the background, skitting around, trying to find out who it was that spoke to me. Spoken to quite a lot of people, because quite a lot of people have spoken to us. I don't do a story unless a lot of people have spoken to us. You understand? But I'm saying now, there is no way that this individual with that pathology and that kind of MO, there is no way that there is only just one sister, this one nurse that he was convicted of. We are putting out an appeal to say that if you have been affected by this monster, please DM me. Afua Rose 69 on Instagram. You got me on Facebook, Afua Rose. Yeah? If you ain't got Instagram, because he's of a particular age. His crimes are of a particular age. And I know the cohort of that age group, most of them ain't on Instagram. And I'm so glad that we go out on Facebook simultaneously now, because they may have missed this, you know? And many of them don't know how to use social media or the devices in a certain kind of way. But I want you, it will be in absolute confidence. Yeah, you don't have to come on this platform. Yeah, and anyone who's worked with us, those sisters that have shared on this platform before, if you're here tonight, I know there's at least a couple in here tonight that I can remember. Put a 1 up if your anonymity was ever betrayed until you were ready to show yourself, because we don't play that game. We guard that with our life. We will never betray a victim's anonymity if they want to remain anonymous. Doesn't happen here. Doesn't happen. Yes, he is from West London, Ladbroke Grove / Shepherd's Bush area. He was very busy in those areas back in the day, graping women. Graping women. I don't have any reports of him and underage girls at the moment. I'm just waiting to see if that is actually, you know, how low can he go? But he was definitely raping sisters in that era. So it's an appeal that we're doing tonight. Don't bother ask me for the evidence. That's coming, because we are doing our homework. Thank you, Hurricane Toya. We are doing our homework. And as I said, not everything from those days you're going to be able to Google and just find like that. It's just not like that. It's not nowadays, is it? Everything's not digital. You've got old rags. You've got to go down in the British Library and look at the microfiche to find certain things. And believe me, we are going in that deep. I want to know exactly the details of that conviction, because it's a conviction. There's nobody that can deny that. And he definitely hasn't denied that. What he's trying to say is, all those years that I spent in jail, I have been exonerated. And you haven't. You're a liar. When you see this happening with this type of personality and this type of pathology of an individual, it's because he's trying to reinvent himself. He's still of a certain age. I believe he's probably in his early 60s or somewhere thereabouts, right? He's of a certain age where he's still sexually active. You know, he's not washed up. He's not 80. But he's trying to reinvent himself and lie to the rest of us so that he can then go back to being undetected. And that is very frightening for us, if you know what we know. No way. Damn blasted liar. Thank you. Love, peace, and unity. And Ota Ada, how dare you? But anyway, look, let's go into it a little bit further, right? So, has he been exonerated? Because that's the question here tonight. The question isn't, did he do it? Didn't he do it? For those of you that rely on an article, you're not going to get an article, because it clearly, well, you might, and I think you should. Actually, there will be something in a local rag somewhere, even if it didn't make the nationals. But we got to go into the microfiche. We've got to go into the homework. We've got to pay for that, actually, and we're going to pay for that out of our own pocket, my own pocket. Let me just be very precise. I'm going to pay for that. I'm going to make sure. You understand? So let's just see, though, because there is a bit of information that is public, and that bit of information is the overturned criminal convictions list, right? So I'm going to share that with you guys. The overturned criminals convictions list. That's what we're going to look at tonight. Because if his case has been exonerated and his conviction overturned, then it will be on that list. His name will be on that list. There we go. So let me share that. Right. So have a look at this, people. These is the overturned convictions list in England. Now, the thing about the UK is, yeah, you see their judiciary, rampant the UK judiciary. Once you're convicted, it is very, very, very difficult in this country to prove your innocence with these people. There are very few. There's only 41 in the whole of British judicial history of people whose cases were overturned. And some of them you're going to recognize, all right? So this gives you the entire category. You can see where it comes from. It's a wiki list. It's perfectly legitimate, yeah? And there's the list. So 41 cases. Now, his surname is Alexander, right? And it goes by the surname. You've got so many people on here. You've got the Birmingham Six. We all know about them. They were 6 Irish men who were each sentenced to life imprisonment in 1975 following their false convictions for the Birmingham pub bombings. I remember that case. I remember when they were exonerated, actually. I didn't know when they were convicted because I would have just been about 3 years old. But I remember when they were exonerated. Another interesting one who we all know is Brother Wilson Silcott. Sticks. Know him personally. Sticks from the Broadwater Farm riots. We know what happened there. British citizen born to Caribbean Montserrat parents was wrongfully convicted in March 1987 as one of the Tottenham Three for the murder of PC Keith Blakelock on the night of the 6th of October 1985. I remember that well. I was 16. I actually wanted to try and join the Troubles because it was all over the radio and the TV, and you know, most of us in those areas wanted to go and support the uprising at that time. So here we are. Here's the list. Now, this list, as I say, it is historic. It goes back, right? Even as far back as, I tell you how far it goes back. I didn't need to click that. In fact, I'm glad I clicked it. So there's this case of Adolf Beck. Now, Adolf Beck was born in Norway in 1841. His case and him being exonerated actually led to the creation of the English Court of Criminal Appeals in 1907. So that's how far this list goes back. The list is exhaustive. He's not on it. One person with the surname A for Alexander, or A for Aki in this case. There's only one person with the surname A. Purple Aki. I don't know him. Do you know him? Hurricane Toya. You know everybody. But there was a brother called Akinwale Oluwafo La Jimmy Oluwatope Arobieke, born in the 15th of July 1961. His case was lifted in 2016. He's the only A on the list. This is Angus Alexander or Francis Alexander. It goes by surname. There is no F. So it ain't even going by first name. There's no F in it. Have a look. E. Then it jumps to G. No F. There's nobody with the surname F. Get it? Guildford 4. Right? So that's going to be talking about Guildford 4 and Maguire 7. And then it will name those people. Disappearance of Dan Banfield, Adolf, Birmingham 6, Paul Blackburn. Have a look through the list, people. There is nothing that suggests this brother is on this list. So how has he been exonerated? I don't believe there are sex offence cases on this. Even the Stockwell 6 are there. Remember them? Robbery. I remember this one as well. Yeah, you remember that one. That was terrible. He's not on the list. He is not on the list. So my question is, why is this brother trying to fool people into thinking that he has been exonerated? You know? You know who I want to find? I want to find the sister who was apparently dating him at the time and was at the court case. And it said that she actually hugged the victim at the end of the trial after he was sentenced. So she clearly dumped him at that point because she knew it was true. I'd love for that sister to come forward. In confidence, sis, you don't have to say who you are. but we need your information at this stage in the game. And it's very possible as well that when his name came off the sex offenders register, sex offenders register, that he got those details wiped. Once you've served your sentence and whatever, it is possible. You have to go for a rigmarole, but it is possible. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's what he's done, but we'll find you in the microfiche, even if you were on the internet before. Stella James says, where can we find that list? The list is on Google it, sis. Just Google overturned convictions in the United Kingdom. All overturned convictions in the United Kingdom. That's what I Googled. And he's not on that list. And there you have it. The list is there for everyone to see. We just don't know it's there. And you know, the Bible says, my people perish through want of knowledge. And that's why it's so important for us to educate ourselves. You know, this fool on Facebook didn't even do no homework, didn't educate himself, just listening to Chinese whispers, think saying no, and can comment. Sarah's law, you fool. Sarah's law. What are you talking about? That's for pedophiles, Sarah's law. It doesn't give you adult sex offenders. That's the sex offenders register if they get convicted. If, you know? So people don't know what they're talking about out there. You know, that's not their fault, really. Most of the public are lay people to whatever it is they're commenting on. You know, very few people are experts on that. And this is why I only listen to the experts. If you know what you're talking about, I listen to you. If you don't, I won't. And worse, if you get disrespectful with it, I will diss you. Because I believe that knowledge is there. I've always said from when I was young, you know, as an articulate person, it is my responsibility to speak for those that are less articulate than myself. But by the same token, I wasn't born articulate. And I had the same life chances as many of my peers. So what made me more articulate than them? Study of knowledge. Putting in the work on that. Anyone can do it. And I've seen brothers that I know I went to school with that could barely read and write at 16 when they left school. And if you see them now, they can out-talk and outright anybody. So we can all do it. Even now, with all the support that you have with neurodivergence and learning difficulties and whatever, those people are able to get to a standard of understanding and knowledge and expression as well. And so there's no excuse in these days and times, you know? No excuse at all. But this guy is deceiving people. Why are you deceiving people? Because you want to, I believe, you want to reinvent yourself so that you can go back under the radar, do your thing, and remain undetected. It's not happening on our watch. I really hope the sisters come forward and are brave enough to do that. You know, there's a certain pathology when it comes on to speaking out, especially with historic cases. And I hope that the sisters with the Vincent Rat situation broke that mold. But it's still a hard nut to crack, let me tell you that. It's very much a hard nut to crack. But, you know, these people, they want to hide in plain sight, people. Let me share something else with you. Because, you know, these people are so bright. And I know that these PPPs, I call them, and it ain't personal protection, whatever, these PPPs. It is pedos, perpetrators, and predators. They watch this page more than anybody else, let me tell you. And some of them have got the brightness to actually comment. But they don't know what they're doing, half of them. Let me share something with you. Yeah, honestly. Facebook again. See if this comment is. That was good for them. They would have removed it. Right. So we're back in these comments again, right? Brother Donovan. I don't think he is Kwame. He talks like him though. He's been listening to him. That's what I think about Denise as usual. Who the hell are you? You're not my mom. You don't have the right to call me Denise. And you don't know your stuff. And you're rude, so you're going to get dissed. Not knowing your stuff is not enough, but being rude with it, nah. You can't be an idiot and be rude. It's as simple as that. I made a mistake there. I put Claire's law, but he definitely did not make a mistake. He meant that, and I've educated him there. Sarah's law, the Child Sex Offenders Disclosure Scheme. Sarah's law is another name for the UK's Child Sex Offenders Disclosure Scheme. It allows anyone to inquire whether a person who has access to a child is a registered sex offender or poses a risk to a child. Did you miss this explanation of Sarah's law when you were Googling? He didn't answer me. Yeah, sister, police, well, yeah, they're not supposed to take a month. And Claire's law, actually, Joan Sonia, will only give you domestic violence related information. Whether that is a conviction or not, it could just be a call out, an accusation. They're only ever going to give you that in relation to domestic violence. But that conviction, I reckon, might be under Claire's law because of the nature of it. It's possible. And then it goes on. But where's this other brother? Hey, I'm not even sure if he sees it. So this person here, Earl Austin, the first thing to establish is the facts, true before anything else, 100. Brother Donovan thinks he's got a friend now, especially someone claiming to work with BAFTA award-winning journalists. Okay, right. Basic entry level 1. No, I think it's him that ain't got no basic entry level 1. You're not even on foundation, brother. So I've said to him, to Earl Austin, didn't you do time for the same thing though? I've received a couple. Oops, didn't you do time for the same thing though? I've received a couple of inquiries about you. If I receive just one more, I will start investigating. That's what I told him, because it's true. Now, normally I wouldn't come out and tell somebody that we're waiting to investigate them, because we're waiting for our number, our cohort number that we use to before we start going in. I wouldn't normally tell them, but you're bright, Earl. The fact of the matter is that I know you did, but because we have a principle of 3 in these situations, I'm still waiting for the 3rd. But we know, Earl, that you did. You served time for grape. How dare you come on into this space and try to put shade on anything? And do you know this fella, potentially? Because a lot of them know each other. Like. You understand me? Don't come on the page, you PPPs, and comment about nothing. Do you understand me? And if you have got any information about Earl, then please come forward as well. We need our 3rd person. You'll be up on the page next week. How very dare you? Alter Arda. I'm not in the mood for it tonight. I'm so not. These people with their fake information, with their smoke screens and their smoke and mirrors, everything to hide their nastiness. It is the one set of offenders that will never admit their crime, especially the pedos out of that PPP. One set of people. How many men do you know that have put up their hands and said, yes, actually, I did actually rape her? How many? Doesn't exist. Us that work in that system know this. You understand? When you're rehabilitating offenders, the murderer, the robber, every one of them will put up their hands at some point, or some won't, you know? But they are the types that will put up their hands, the murderers, the robbers, the burglars, or whatever. They'll say, do you know what I did? And I'm sorry. But when do you see a sex offender doing that? Tell me. I'm waiting. I'm going to put out the link, people. Otherwise, we're going to finish on the top of the hour. I know in my heart, in my spirit, that this appeal is going to be successful with this brother. You might find yourself back doing bird. Yeah. Do up yourself tonight. I'm not even going to be nice about it. Do up yourself tonight, because you know you are. And I know you're here listening. Do up yourself tonight, because the sisters are going to come forward. At least one have to come forward with this, because that nurse ain't the only one. And we do know for sure that there are at least 2 others. That's what I'm going to say for now. For sure. At least. For sure. Yeah? So I just want the rest of the sisters to come forward. Bagging. There's no statute of limitation. Like I told the Vincent Rat victims, no statute of limitation. Will it go somewhere? It's historic. Do you have proof? The CPS are rubbish at bringing charges to these people. It might not. Vincent Rat is still in motion. There's so many people to, well, is it in motion? Because we indicted Brixton Police, and do they actually want to really investigate it? We know that they say they're investigating it, but actually they just chuck that to the bottom of the pile, especially if they're implicated. We know this. But at the end of the day, the community will know. That's who it is. And those people won't be able to hide in plain sight anymore or be free to do it again. Because they'll be baited and they'll be outed. And that is the principle that his time is up stands on. Nothing else. You understand? Of course we're careful. We don't want to call out people that are innocent because gal can be vindictive. We know this. It's not rocket science. We're women as well. You know? How many of us have seen our friends do certain things? I know I have. And I'm saying, nah, sis, that's wrong. You can't do that to the brother. So we got our own stuff to deal with as women. But by the same token, it's high time that the brothers stop shielding these people. Come off my page, El Austin, with yourself. You know, I wonder if you're on the register still. I don't think you will be either at this stage. But don't be coming on here. And don't these people think that they can reinvent themselves. I hate it when, you know, there's this fad at the moment where drug dealers and roadmen suddenly want to start working with the youths and giving back after you created the carnage. There's cases where that is really genuine. And you can see which brothers are genuine and which aren't, and which are trying to jump on the bandwagon and monetize from it because, you know, they really can't do no more road to earn their money. And they don't have any other way of earning money. But I hate it. You created that carnage. Don't try to reinvent yourself. No time. You understand? It's out of order. It's out of order. So let me put the link out. Let's see what happens. Jump on that link, copy and paste it into your browser, and it will take you into this live. So all you got to do, just highlight it, copy and paste it, and then put it in the top, like where you would normally have the searches and whatever. And it will bring you to this live. So there it is. Let's see if we get any takers. Anyone who wants to comment, anyone who has any doubts about this man's guilt in terms of the historic crime, anyone who has any doubts, jump on. Anyone who agrees, jump on. Sister says, Lady Etak, I thank this channel for showing me in the strongest way I'm not alone. God bless us survivors. Big up, Afua. Thank you. That I love those kind of comments because it is really in the spirit of what we do. Thank you. Thank you. Brown Sugarful says, Brother Donovan is dodgy. I have observed his comments for months. He's always opposing and trying to make you unpopular, Afua. I've not even noticed him, I swear down. One of my people, my team said that as well. Yeah, he's this guy, and I'm like, really haven't noticed him. There's a lot of names. You know what I mean? I only noticed him because it was pointed out to me, and I was scolded, quite rightly, really, for not checking my Facebook enough. Because I don't. I kind of, if I do check anything, it's going to be the Instagram. Honestly, and I do apologize. I've got DMs or whatever they call them on Facebook, on the Messenger, of loads of stuff, and I'm going, oh my God, I should have really gone over here. But it's habit, isn't it? So I'm getting into that now. And yes, I think I need to, especially as we are now going out on Facebook. Yeah? Donovan, forget. Exactly, Donovan, an idiot. Brother Donovan. I wonder why he calls himself that. Are we getting any takers tonight? Where's the link? We put it out again. I don't think we are. It's going to be a short live. Brilliant. But it's an appeal, like I said. I'm still waiting, guys, for my daughter, who, bless her, you know, she's our designer. She's the designer extraordinaire, to give me the designs for the flyers for this year. That's what I'm waiting on. But her workload is just, it's just insane. So I can't push her. And, you know, I'm not paying her. She does it for the goodness of from the goodness of her heart, for her support for the movement and the love of her mother. So I've just got to just kick back and wait for her to go. Blessed love, Grandma Liz. I didn't see you before. Blessed love. Yeah, the link is up. Jump on, man. People always got enough to say, but they don't want to jump on the link and have a community conversation. Hasn't happened for a while now. You know, I like our conversations. Oh, bless you, Lady Etak. I'm sorry if you feel that way, sister. Sister says she can't lie. Hearing the word grape in this context is so close to the actual word is quite triggering. Maybe I'm too soft. Oh, you're not too soft, my sister. You're not too soft. But you know, the scripture shows us that if you can't get under it and you can't get over it and you can't get around it to the left or the right, you just got to go through it. And that's part of survivorship. You know, when you just got to go through it and face that and deal with the triggers, because there's only so many times those triggers can trigger. When you keep confronting it and keep talking about it and make that a part of your fabric, it loses its power, because you're literally taking the unconscious, those things that trigger you, the pain, the hurt that lays in your subconscious mind, you're bringing it to the fore. Linguistically, neuro-linguistically, you're bringing that to the fore. You know, I could go into it, but I don't do one-to-one stuff like that anymore. You know, I was thinking about bringing that back and really bringing back the work in that way, but these practitioners that deal with Eurocentricized forms of therapy are going to have to come up to speed, aren't they? You know, we only have real proper examples of that in America, proper intercultural therapists, which is what I have trained in, you know, as well as their models. When I was at university, I used to bun Sigmund Freud and these people. And I'm so glad, you know, I was there at a point where I was receiving right knowledge, because I used to quote man like Naeem Akbar and these people in my bibliographies, you know. It's not right for everybody's psyche, this stuff. It's really not. Afua, why didn't you do? Sending these sisters to some of these fools out there. I've worked with these people. I know, and there are good therapists out there, but they've got private practice. It's a lot of money, and they're not going to be doing any kind of pro bono type of work. Okay. So where am I sending them? To these organizations that exist out there? You must be crazy. I wouldn't send my daughters there if they were traumatized. I wouldn't go there myself. I didn't. I was lucky for what I was exposed to in my healing journey, you know? So there we are. And until we get the support that we need from our own community to build these things, I don't mind. I might even start doing masterclasses where I'm training therapists to do that, you know? I might start doing that. Who knows? That will raise money. Then we can build a building. Then we can put all those therapists in there and everyone can have access to it in the right way. As it stands, there is only kind of one, maybe two organizations, and they are drug organizations for drug rehabilitation, where I know those practitioners exist like that in there. Yeah, and they're always over south. So most people don't even want to go over there anymore, you know? The word therapist, the rapist. Yeah, exactly. And that is actually what it's designed to do for anybody that's trained in that. It's to take and rape your mind, you know, in a way of sorts. In a way of sorts. It depends on what model you're using, to be fair. But anyhow, doesn't look like we're going to get any takers. We're up on the hour, which is great. Nice round figure. Most of them are narcissistic trauma bonded survivors themselves. Ain't that the truth? I have met the most screwed up people I've met have been colleagues in the field. Trust me, them not easy at all. But my people, all right, okay. Thanks, mods. Private message there. Yeah, man, I missed that comment. Someone was asking for me to put the picture up again. There you go. That's the picture of the nastiness. That is the picture of the nastiness, honestly. I don't know if I can't see that comment, but if there's somebody that thinks they knows them, if there's somebody that thinks they know them, please DM me on Facebook Messenger or at Afua Rose 69. Not Afua Rose, not Afua.Rose 69, not Afua anything else 69, Afua Rose, one word 69. Anything else is trolls. And then my backup page, which I've hardly used, I need to check that as well. I know I get DMs in there sometimes, is Afua Speaks. But no care how I DM people back and say, please DM me on the main page because I check that one more regularly. People will still DM me on the Afua Speaks. So if it's Afua Speaks, one word, Afua Speaks 69, one word, That is me. That's my backup page, but probably best not to DM me on that. If it's Afua Rose 69 one word, you're going to get me on that. Okay? Please do that. Okay. Essence says chat show. Why do I hate that word? But thank you, sis, or brother. God bless you in this chat show. Women have an anonymous platform to speak out. I'm guessing it's a sister, but would that be stereotypical of me? You know? But yeah, let me just look at some comments then, because nobody's coming on. I'll put the thing out one more time. Always the same though, isn't it? With the most sensitive subjects. You guys have we have to be able to talk out. We can put our cameras off. You know what is the biggest thing I think that we really need to get down pat, especially with this AI revolution, which, believe me, I do not understand it. I'm thinking, what's the difference? This AI thing. Maybe I just haven't seen one of the good ones. I don't know. Like, couldn't people do this before? This AI thing. I thought they could. Or was it AI doing it? I know my girls would be laughing at me right now. They'd be like, "Oh, Mark, you're such a dinosaur." I don't know the difference between AI and some of these other apps that's out there. You know, like next week. Hey, Dirty T Westwood. Oh my God. There's someone called Leonie. Oh, sis, Leonie. Whoever you are, Leonie, can you please... Leonie, connect your camera. I just saw you. Please connect your camera. It's saying that your device is not connected, and that's what it does. If you don't connect your camera and your microphone, it won't let you in. When you're coming in, it will say with a little sign at the bottom, allow mic and camera access. When you press that, be mindful then to also look and then allow it in your own permissions on the phone. That's where people are going wrong. They're going, I'm pressing it. But when you press it, it then says allow on your computer or your phone or whatever. So please do that and jump back in, Leonie, if you can, yeah? I don't know if it's our sister, Leonie. It might be. I don't know if you guys remember Sister Leonie, the sister that came on with her sister, and they were ex-offenders, and they run a channel for ex-offenders. Brilliant channel. We featured them here. I hope it is that, Leonie, because, sis, I've lost your number. I haven't lost your number. Your number's in my other phone that the feds have got. So I can't get hold of you, basically. So I hope it is you, Leonie. Whichever Leonie is, try and jump back in. We're only here for a little time longer, so try to do that quickly. Put that out the link. Let's see who picks it up. To kill some time tonight, lady. Hold on, I meant to press the link. Yeah, man, these people can't hide in plain sight anymore, and you're bang out of order, Francis Alexander. It's bad enough, but to be going around calling yourself Angus McTavish as well. How many women have you assaulted that think your name is Angus McTavish? Do you know what I mean? How many? How many don't actually really know your name? How many reported you as Angus McTavish in the pre-DNA digital age? Because you go way back, you're not getting all of that data. Look at the Yorkshire Ripper in that era, in the 80s, which wasn't that, if somebody said he was convicted in 92, but was the case, was the crime actually committed in 92? Because that's only 2 years later. It might have been committed in 89, 90, who knows? We will find that out. But you look at something like the Yorkshire Ripper, which I believe he was convicted in the 80s. They didn't have DNA. They didn't rely on all of those things. They didn't have CCTV. Do you understand me? That's why these people have had to change their game at the end of the day. That's why they've had to. But yeah, if Leonie's not going to jump back on, we're not going to get any more takers. At one point, there was somebody trying to jump on with my name, but I just ignored them and they just fell off anyway. We know what that's all about, don't we? And we know who that is. But they're very quiet and behaving themselves in the comments lately. A lot of them are blocked anyway. Enough of them are blocked. I think they're going to have to get themselves new profiles. It doesn't look like they're trying to anymore. They've given up. So we might have won the war, people. We might have won the war. But yeah, I'm going to be waiting during the week. As long as it takes, actually, because the nature of this thing is that it doesn't often happen in a week. It could be that somebody sees the live 8 months later, like Peter Bailey's daughter, and then comes with their testimony. You know, that was a dread one. It could be that, yeah, that's what it could be. But we don't mind playing the long game on this guy. And in the meantime, we'll be getting our nuts together and our ducks in a row, and we'll be getting the information via information access under the Freedom of Information Act, subject access under the Freedom of Information Act, and we will be finding out exactly what I want, because we've got a right to know. And we know we've proven here that you've not been exonerated. So that's a lie. And if you're lying about that, what else are you lying about? Francis Alexander, aka Angus McTavish. Thought I'd end with the Scottish accent. It's just too ridiculous anyway. What kind of brother calls himself Angus bloody McTavish? Is there a brother called Angus McTavish? It's just such a weird name. For me, I just find it really kind of, knowing what he is and what he does, I just find the name a little creepy. Do you know what I mean? Knowing what he's on. Blessed love, Karma Wolf, Solar Decoy. Yes, man. You done know, sis. You know what I'm going to say, and it will happen. It's a crazy one out here. But yeah, bless up to all of you guys, man. Oh, so there's a John Smith in the comments saying he goes out with Kay Watson. All right, but I don't know who Kay Watson is, and I don't know if he does. So if that is the case, bless you, Kay. I hope you don't know. If you do, then no, sis, it ain't the one. Nothing before time, absolutely. But blessed love, my people, we're under 1 minute 11, which is very significant, actually. I've been seeing a lot of ones lately. You know that them angel numbers, I've been getting a lot of that, and I'm going to end the live on that one. So bless up, my people. I will see you guys next week. You don't know what time it is, and have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed